Well, I didn't. So I didn't see Ghost in the Shell, and you didn't see Beauty and the Beast. So let's start with you. Was it a good movie?
Ghost in the Shell, it's a good movie. It's not great.
Wow.
It's not great. And, this, keep in mind that this is coming from someone that has no knowledge of anime, no knowledge of manga, Japanese cartoons, or anything like that. No knowledge.
And someone that's 100% okay with whitewashing.
Well, yeah, I encourage it. Yeah, so, I mean, we could talk about how this movie is maligned for its whitewashing, but the reality thing is we can't control that. This movie was made, it was first of all, it was financed by 2 different Chinese companies. Right. No one ever talks about that. Just like the Great Wall was. Well,
they were upset about it too, right? I mean, they're furious. I'm sure.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they're just going to hand over hundreds of millions of dollars and then have no say on who the leading actress is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's whatever. People want to be upset with it. That's fine. But I'm more interested in if it's a good movie or not.
Yeah.
I would say that it's, for what it is, it's pretty entertaining. As just a basic sci-fi movie. It's a sci-fi action movie. And I think Scarlett Johansson, considering, all the flack she got leading up to this, she did a great job. She played the Neo character, for lack of a better description. She's the main character who can bend time and space, basically, through some unknown means. She's like this overpowered police agent. So anyone that doesn't know the story, which I didn't, I went into this completely blind. Basically, the story is this woman who wakes up and her brain has been saved. Her brain has been harvested, and it's been placed in this robotic shell that looks like a human. So she looks like a woman, but she's not. Her real life body has already died.
Wow.
And this robotics company that's financed this project has used her as some sort of police agent. She's like a SWAT team member, essentially. So it's the most dangerous task. They send in this unit. I can't remember. It's called Unit 9 or something like that. And she's the head of that unit. So she's sent in to kill bad guys and basically do all the dirty work for the police. And along the journey, she discovers that she's not a human, and that she had a past, and she basically gets this itch to find out, where did I come from, how did I get here, and what am I? It's like an existential crisis, essentially. And so that's the crux of the story. It's all about her journey to find out her past and to uncover where she came from. And along the way, she comes up against this really nefarious character played by Michael Pitt. Do you know who Michael Pitt is?
No.
Okay, Michael Pitt was he played Kurt Cobain in that movie Elephant. Was it? No, not Elephant. It's what's the name of that movie? There's this loosely based Nirvana movie, and he played the Kurt Cobain character. He has.
Oh, I see him. Yeah, I know him for sure.
Yeah. If you saw his face, you would totally recognize him.
He was in 7 Psychopaths.
Yeah. So okay, that's another one he was in. He made a lot of movies in the early 2000s. I think he took a break for some reason, and he's back playing the bad guy in this movie. He does a great job. He's a fantastic actor. Really good. Has a lot of screen presence. And he's the main bad guy that Scarlett Johansson's character comes up against. And it's her job to investigate why he's doing what he's doing and figure out how to stop him. So that's basically the main crux of the movie. And it's pretty straightforward. The most interesting thing about the movie is the visuals. I mean, they create this really dynamic kind of dystopian digital worlds. We've seen it before, but this is one of the best uses of that style. We've seen it in Blade Runner. We've seen it in the movie AI. It's set in kind of a Hong Kong type of really densely populated city, but there's neon signs everywhere, and the cinematography of the movie is a lot of aerial shots, a lot of swooping helicopter shots, and it's really, really cool use of CG in those exteriors. And that's probably the strength of the movie, is the visual sense that the director used. The story is, like I said, it's pretty basic. There's a twist towards the end that you kind of figure out some stuff, but it's honestly it's pretty meaningless.
Now you insisted on seeing this D-box. Did that enhance your experience?
Yeah.
Was the theater that full? You had to get D-box?
No. So what happened is I go to the theater and I refuse to stand in line. There's a line outside. The movie's starting in 2 minutes, so I have the option to buy it for myself at a kiosk. Use it yourself kiosk, a self-serve.
Oh, of course.
And the only option is to purchase a D-box ticket. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna watch.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, D-box is it's the
Star Tours.
Exactly, that's perfect. It's the Star Tours version of a movie. So throughout the entire movie, my chair is shaking. It's raising up and down. It's vibrating.
It's amazing how little it adds to anything. It doesn't add anything, actually.
It adds absolutely nothing, especially to a movie like this. Completely pointless.
I saw Tron,
Mm-hmm.
Tron Legacy in D-box and Super 8 in D-box, and both times I was like, why did I do this the second time?
Yeah, it's so dumb, and it cost me like $8 extra just to get that
unbelievable upcharge. That's not the way that movie theater experience is. I can buy into the reclined seats and comfort part of it.
Yeah.
D-box, no.
And when I presented the ticket to the it was actually a manager tearing tickets at the theater. He's like, "Oh, you went for the D-box, huh?" So he knew it was a bad idea.
Yeah, he's like, for Ghost in the okay, interesting.
Yeah, at that point I should have just asked for my money back. But it's an interesting gimmick, but completely worthless. So
yeah. But, well, you and I know all the tricks on how to get either your refund or a readmission ticket. There's a few things.
Yeah.
It's all about the temperature in the room. If it's too hot or too cold.
And then number 2 is the sound. Just say the sound went out, and you'll get a free ticket.
Yep.
So yeah, by the end of the movie, I was actually, I enjoyed the movie in a sense. I'm really thankful that it was only an hour and 40 minutes. I couldn't have lasted another 20 minutes, that's for sure.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah. So I mean, I would give it a solid recommendation if you like animation or if you like sci-fi or Scarlett Johansson. You'll probably like this movie.
So I'm willing to bet you liked Ghost in the Shell more than you would have liked Beauty and the Beast. Because I'm assuming you don't agree when people say that the original Beauty and the Beast is the greatest love story ever told.
Not the greatest, but it's up there. Yeah.
I'll never forget. I was on a date in college. It was probably with Lindsay. What were you going to ask?
Was it with Lindsay?
I probably.
Okay.
We were at a bowling alley, and there was this like DJ playing music, and then he stopped it to do these like pop quiz stuff, with everyone. It was a Saturday night. Every single lane was full, and the dude comes up to ask us a pop quiz question, and you get some sort of gift certificate if you get it right. And he comes up to me and he asks me, which 1993 movie is considered, quote, the greatest love story ever told? And I didn't hesitate. I said, Beauty and the Beast. And he looked so shocked as he like handed me the gift certificate. And the group I was with all looked at me like, why, how did you know that? And I don't know. I thought that was a famous like thing a quote that people knew. I mean, famous enough to be a part of their pop quiz thing, but
I didn't know that.
Anyway.
I mean, I just know his tale as old as time. I didn't know it was the.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know. Well, be my guest. I mean, yeah. You wouldn't like Beauty and the Beast, but I don't need to tell you that. But I will say this: when you've got a situation where it's a beloved cartoon, and it was the first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture Academy Award, not animated, but Best Picture. That you're dealing with a sacred source material in a lot of people's eyes, and so you've got to know that's never going to match up to that, right? It's an exercise in nostalgia, and you're getting the songs and live action, and you're hoping that it adds something. And I think to most people, it absolutely will. The way I land on the film being fine. In fact, I'd gotten or heard enough backlash that I probably liked it a little bit more than I was expecting. Certainly, that was my first reaction. But it's really an exercise in nostalgia with a couple wrinkles here and there. All the actors were fine. Luke Evans is good. Certainly Emma Watson's good. I don't know who the Beast is. Doesn't really matter because you don't really see his face till the end. And even when you do, you're kind of like, whoa. Like, I don't know. Maybe go back to the Beast. But what I will say, my primary criticism is this. I never enjoy myself when I can tell every single scene is shot on a soundstage or a set. Like, if you don't ever actually have a shot outdoors with natural lighting, like, I don't know, I don't think I'm some sort of technical, it's not like I've been on a bunch of film sets that I know the difference, but like, maybe some people can't tell, but man, there wasn't a single shot of natural light. It was all controlled settings. It was all, it feels claustrophobic a little bit, where it's all on a set. And I realize the reasons why you have to shoot a movie that way, in controlled environment. It's also easier to shoot it that way. It's more expensive in some ways. I guess it can go either way. But they had a lot of CGI in the film that was going to be expensive, and it had an enormous budget. It's also almost made $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It was the number 2 movie this weekend.
Yep. Yeah, so. Almost $1 billion. It's like 800 and something million worldwide so far. So it's gonna get $1 billion, this weekend.
Are we gonna get a sequel? Do you think?
Yes. Well, don't put anything past them. I mean, if they can make like a sequel to Lion King, Simba's Roar, if they can make a sequel to The Sandlot, which is just sacrilegious, they can make a sequel to Beauty and the Beast. So, I think it's fine. And certainly fans of Disney films and the people who have enjoyed these live action adaptations, I don't think we'll be disappointed with this one. And so I know B. Mort was disappointed. I know Skylar didn't really care for it either. I thought it was fine. So if you get past the false feeling.
Would you recommend the movie?
Yeah, that's interesting because I know some people will love it, and I know some people absolutely will not. I would never recommend this to you or Skylar. I would recommend it to B. Mort. I would recommend it to my parents, my siblings for the most part. Yep.
So basically, the people that you love, you would recommend it to. The people that you don't really care about.
The people that I have absolutely no respect for, I would never recommend this film to. Because it's about happiness, and you guys don't want happiness in your lives. No, I mean, any real cinemaphile is not going to have any level of respect for this film.
So if the animated film is a 10, which I'll grant you that, I'd say it's a 10. What would you rate the live action version?
Between a 6 and a 7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere between like 6.5. I'll just go there. 6. Split the difference. 6.5. Now it's fine. It could have been a lot worse, but it was entertaining. I mean, who was
your favorite of the characters, the inanimate object characters?
Oh, definitely the dresser that puts all the clothes on people.
Cool. That sounds like
That
sounds like weird. A great character.
The teacup kid, Lumiere, the candlestick was always a favorite.
His name is Chip, right? Chip.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Ian McKellen plays the clock, who's did a really good job. When Ian McKellen, by the way, like at the end of the film, spoiler alert, he gets to be turned back into the human that he is. This was like. Look, there was a lot of hubbub about a gay moment being in the film, which, by the way, isn't really there, which is shocking. That's why Malaysia eventually just let them screen it without having to edit it, because they were in kind of a showdown with Disney, telling them they had to cut out the gay stuff in order for them to screen it, and Disney said they wouldn't, because truthfully, there isn't. The gayest moment, to be totally honest, is when Ian McKellen, who is a gay man, turns into a human, and his wife is so excited to see him, and he has this look on his face where he's repulsed as she like embraces him, because she's kind of like a not a sympathetic character in the movie, and he's just like, oh, like I do not want to be with her. That was the gayest moment. That's the truth of it. And you know what? That's fine. It's good. That's good for kids to know. It's not a bad thing. That's my Beauty and the Beast review. So we'll wrap up. I was going to talk about Star Wars Celebration. I guess it's worth mentioning quickly. Maybe I'll go in more detail on the Patreon episode.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Essentially next week on Thursday, I will be in Orlando, Florida, attending Lucasfilm's annual Star Wars Celebration. And
can you promise us now? I mean, do you want to break the news now that you are getting Hayden Christensen to do exclusive podcast interview? We
may or may not have Hayden Christensen on the pod. So for those of you who don't know what Star Wars Celebration is, Lucasfilm puts it on. It's a 3-day event where they have a bunch of panels it's the place where they announce their new Star Wars films. All the news comes out. This is the place where they first show the trailers. So we're going to get the Episode 8, the very first Episode 8 trailer at Star Wars Celebration. The whole cast is there. They have all sorts of different, panels. But this is where they really make the big announcements. And it's really exciting. And, there's thousands of Star Wars, crazy fans like myself. Though they'll be much crazier than I am sure. But Hayden Christensen, understandably, has completely avoided Star Wars stuff ever since Revenge of the Sith. He doesn't go to the conventions. He doesn't talk about it. He completely avoids Star Wars, and I understand. He was very bad in it, and they're very bad movies, and he almost wants to forget it. Well, they're doing a 40th anniversary Star Wars remembering Star Wars panel on day one. It's one of the panels I'm actually signed up to go to, and Hayden Christensen is booked to attend it, which is a shock for the Star Wars community because he doesn't do these things. And so I think he feels like it's time, because there is a contingent of fans, not a majority, but a contingent of Star Wars fans that actually do like the prequels, people I don't understand. These are I can't understand them the same way I can't understand like an ISIS terrorist, It's
right.
like, I don't understand how your mind can get there.
Well, they're the flat earthers of the Star Wars.
Flat earthers, exactly. People actually, you're like, what? Now, he's doing these photo ops. This is fascinating. Like, a lot of these people, not all of the celebrities, but they'll do these both autograph and photo op opportunities, so they'll charge you money. The biggest name is Felicity Jones, was charging $450 if you wanted a photo and an autograph. And she sold out.
That's a good deal. I think that's a good deal.
It's a good deal. So Hayden Christensen does it, immediately sells out, just because he doesn't do these things, which was a bummer because I honestly was considering buying a ticket so I could get up there and tell him that I don't want a photo with him and then walk away. It would have been worth every penny, because as much as George is to blame for the disastrous prequels and the script and the direction, he is the one actor I can point to because of the career he's had afterwards, where it's he was actually bad as well. He was as bad as the script he was handed. Can't say the same for Natalie Portman, who has an Oscar, or Ewan McGregor, who's made great movies like Salmon Fishing in Yemen.
Trainspotting too.
Moulin Rouge. But Hayden Christensen, sorry man, Jumper isn't exact. You can't really hang your hat on that post Star Wars career. You were very bad at acting, and I don't, whatever. I'm not excited for him to be there. In fact, it makes my experience a little bit worse.
I'm hoping that everyone that gets his autograph just refers to him as Annie.
Little Annie.
Little Annie.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited. Maybe I'll go in more detail on the Patreon pod about all these different panels. There's some great ones. I'm really excited. Go to our patreon.com/BraveLittlePodcast to hear more about Star Wars Celebration, as well as our thoughts on S-Town, and some other fun conversations. So that's it. Thanks, Aaron. As we say, hold on to your butts.